Ranger Nation, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about Mirai from alltheanime.com, and I've got to admit, this film is amazing. It's out now, it's definitely worth checking out. Link is going to be in the description down below, so you can definitely check it out and buy it. I highly recommend it. Before we begin the video, if you want to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, as well as that cheeky notification bell to be notified when more videos drop. And why not leave a comment saying why you like anime films, or Mirai mainly about that. If you've seen the film, let me know down below in those comments. And without further ado, let's just jump straight into it. There are a few different versions of Mirai from all the anime. Let's start with the limited edition and what you get. First of all, the box artwork looks really cool. I really like the white and then just the image of Kun and baby Mirai on it, because the pencil sketching looks really nice. I've got to admit, I actually kind of really like that on like limited edition stuff, because it looks so much different than like the kind of original like finished paint work on it. You also get 3-disc soundtrack, because the music in this is really nice, and also you get 5 art cards which shows different parts of the animation, and a booklet in there which I'm kind of really curious to want to know what you get in there. They don't give anything away on that one, so I wonder what's inside there. And you also get a poster, like a very kind of a small one on there, but the poster looks really cool. It's artwork that I generally really like. The Blu-ray version is just the kind of a standard like cover with the picture of Mirai and Kun on there, which stands out, but the DVD version has like the entire family on there, which to me I was like, oh, why not stick with like the original where like future Mirai is like holding on to Kun, because that would make more sense than just have the entire family on there. When I started watching this film, after a while, Kun really started to kind of annoy me. So I think a few minutes in, I had to kind of understand it from his sort of level. And then once you do that, it seems to be okay, because if you don't, you just get really frustrated because it's the same thing all the way through. Now, what kind of made this film for me was the fact is that with kind of different story arcs, really small ones, but they worked so well and they made you want to watch a little bit more all the way through. So if you don't know what the story of Mirai is basically the main character Kun has been living with his family all his life, and all the attention is on him. Since the family has got a new baby called Mirai, all the attention, as it would do, would shift onto the new baby. Now, Kun doesn't understand this, and you know, at first he's like, oh my god, I'm going to protect her, you know, I'm going to do this. But then it kind of changes a little bit, and it's more kind of like, oh, I'm going to throw my toys out, you know, I'm going to be like this, I'm going to stand out, I'm going to scream, blah blah blah. And it gets really frustrating, but all the way through this anime, you kind of see him kind of develop, kind of like mature a little bit, and kind of express his feelings for Mirai. But majority of it is just like the story arcs are the most interesting ones. So at key points in this film, when something happens to Kun, the tree in the house activates, and that holds all the memories from the entire family all in one. And I generally thought that this was a film where he would scream, he'd hate his family, he'd be then teleported to this brand new universe, and then things completely change. But I'm so glad that it was like smaller stories. First one is after Kun has like this whole temper tantrum because, you know, Mirai is getting more attention. And one thing I will point out in this one is that when Kun gets really angry, he lashes out, and that annoyed me, because he picks up his train and he's about to hit Mirai, but his mum kind of stops him and says no. But Kun keeps trying to do this, so I don't know if he would hit her, how would he feel? Oh, it just angers me so much. He meets this really strange man, which turns out to be the dog. So the dog's name is Yoko, and he is in his human form. He explains that it was the same sort of process when Mirai came home, that everyone was focusing on Yuko, and as soon as Kun came home as a baby, all the attention shifted to him, and the dog got jealous. As they're kind of talking, Kun finds out that he can take the tail off Yoko, stick it on, and he became this like half dog hybrid. So he runs around this entire house, and at first I generally didn't know if the parents could see him and go, oh, he's turned into a dog, or if basically it was just Kun's imagination and he ran around the house really quickly and everyone's like, oh my god, what's going on? The next part of the film is an event called Girls' Day in Japan, where the parents have got these really nice expensive like dolls out, and they're kind of there to give Mirai like kind of like good luck in the future. But as days go by, they forget to take the dolls down, and Kun has another argument saying, why does like Mirai get all the attention? Because he wants his dad's attention, and his dad has to work because his mom has gone out to go and work as well. At this point, when Kun goes into the garden, he meets future Mirai. Now this woman is just standing there. He doesn't realize who it is until he sees like the kind of birth mark that Mirai has. She explains that, you know, Kun is being really like mean to her by putting stuff on her, and she doesn't know why. In the end, the main mission for this is to get the dolls put away so that Mirai in the future can actually find a husband and just basically enjoy life. This is when again it gets kind of weird, because I generally thought that maybe the parents would not be able to see it. So if like Kun and Mirai as well as Yoko were kind of walking about, that the dad would be like, hey, I know you. And as therefore the whole jig would be up. But that doesn't happen. You get some really funny kind of moments which kind of really make this for me, and I generally enjoyed it. It felt like one of those like ooh, 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 compared to it just being straightforward. In the end, when Kun's mum comes back, she notices that the dolls are being put away, and Kun's like, yeah, I did that all by myself. And they all kind of thank him, and things kind of progress. As future Mirai kind of leaves, I think this is skipping a little bit back into it, she tells Kun not to be a pain to her, like to treat her with respect, because it's not fair, because she can't do anything. And Kun kind of goes, yeah, okay, but it doesn't work. You know, it goes back to them being kind of not enemies, but Kun just being a bit of a dick. The next segment is Kun's grandma comes to visit, because I think she's trying to help with Mirai as well as like, you know, trying to help with the entire family. But the grandmother then starts showing pictures of Kun's mum when she was his age, but starts kind of talking about it. When she leaves, Kun is being a massive dick again, and he's not picking up his toys. You know, his mum has said, look, you know, you need to help me, let's pick them up, let's put them away, but he's like, no, and then starts taking out his toys again and like throwing them about. As this sort of happens, he gets teleported. The tree teleports him all the way back to the past, and he meets his mum when she was little. So they start having a few kind of like talks. You know, she says that she wants a cat, but her mother is being really kind of like naughty, basically saying no to all this. As they walk, they see this cat, they start kind of stroking it, but it doesn't like it because it's raining. And then Kun's mum invites Kun to go back to the house so that they can have food or they can play with toys. And this is when Kun and his mother just literally start messing up the entire house, thinking, oh yeah, it's gonna mess this up, it's absolutely fine. As it gets really, really messy, Kun's mum's mum comes in, and Kun's mum just like kicks him out the house and says like, you know, you don't need to be here. And then we see this whole massive argument being really crazy, and it's, you know, Kun realizes what he's done and he tries to be a better person. He tries to be a bit more sympathetic, but it doesn't work, and later on he just returns to his old ways. Okay, so this is my favorite part of the film. Now, in this part, Kun wants to ride a bike, and his dad's going to try and teach him. But because he's a stay-at-home dad, he has Mirai with him, and they go to the park. And Kun sees these kids playing on their bikes, noticing that they don't have training wheels. So he becomes a bit of a brat, says that he wants them off, and his dad's like, are you sure? Kun thinks he can do it straight away, no problem. So Kun starts to learn. He starts to ride his bike, but keeps falling off. His dad is only there for a little bit because he's actually left Mirai with a complete stranger. And with this, like, you know, he tries to help. All the kids say that they're going to help him because they, like, you know, they want to teach him how to ride a bike. But Kun doesn't kind of take this, and he's like, no, I don't care, I don't want your help. And he's like, dad, blah, blah, blah. So when they get back to the house, Kun says that he is not going to ride his bike. He can't be bothered with it anymore. He absolutely hates it. I can understand what he's going through, but at the end of the day, he has to realize that his sister's in life and she can't do the stuff that he can do. Back at the house, Kun then goes back in time. Now, I generally thought that we were going to see adult Kun. He was going to help him through some things, but it's not. It's actually his grandfather. And it goes through this whole process of his grandfather saying, like, are you scared of certain things? This is how you overcome them. And through all this, he's showing him how to ride a horse, but Kun is scared of the horse until he's like, you know, on the horse, and he's absolutely fine. And then they get a motorbike and they start driving. And I really like the advice. Now, if I remember it correctly, they start saying stuff. If you're going forward, never have your head down. Always look forward, because that's your destination. You're not looking at your feet or looking at the ground. And Kun kind of takes this into consideration and realizes that next time he's on a bike, he's going to do that. He's going to look straight ahead and he's going to carry on, and he's not going to look down, and that's how it should happen. Now, we found out that Kun's grandfather was actually in World War II, I think it was, or World War I. I think it's World War II, and he gets hurt because he's the only survivor on his boat, and he basically saves himself. I generally really like that because it felt like even though he'd been hurt through the war, he was like saying, look, you need to carry on, never look down, always look forward. And I think that's a really good metaphor for life. When he returns back to his normal time, he then says to his dad that he wants to ride his bike properly, and I think the next day they go out and Kun actually does it. He actually rides his bike perfectly, and everyone is really, really happy about it. The last part of the film is where everyone is going to go on a vacation, basically a family holiday, and Kun wants to wear his yellow shorts, but he's got blue ones on, so he kicks up this whole massive fuss because his parents say, no, there is nothing wrong with this, you have to wear them. So he decides to run away in his own house, so he grabs a few things and he rushes off and he gets inside the bathtub and decides to hide there. But after a few minutes realizes no one is coming for him, so he ventures back out into the garden where he notices his trains are there, and then he sees this whole massive big train, jumps to another part where he meets his future self, which you don't really know, and his future self says, don't get on that train, if you do that you'll regret it, it's not what you need to do. But he doesn't listen to him whatsoever, and then decides to go to Tokyo Station. So he sees all these amazing trains, he's like, oh my god, this is amazing, what's going on? But then he realizes he needs to get home, but he can't because he doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know what train will take him to the right place. He then goes to the Lost and Found, and when he's in line, you know, the Lost and Found, which is really weird by the way, turns around and says, okay, do you know your parents' name? And he doesn't realize, he's like, mum and dad. He's like, that's not enough, we need more information. What is your mum's name? Don't know. What is your dad's name? Don't know. And that's pretty much it. So he's then told that he has to go down to these stairs to get this train to the Lonely Island, the Lost Island, which is in the form of a dragon train. So as he's being pushed on there, he realizes he's in danger. But when he looks over to the train, he sees Mirai as a baby kind of crawling and looking like she's going to go on the train. He then shouts out he doesn't want her to get on the train because he doesn't want her to become a lost soul. So he rushes over. He's about to pick it up, but then realizes that he has to be a big brother and shouts out that he is her big brother, which then calls future Mirai out of nowhere, who just literally busts in, grabs him, and they fly out. And I'm like, okay, this is weird. This is ridiculously weird. They start flying and they land in the tree that is in the back garden of the house, and future Mirai tells them about everything, saying that if certain things didn't happen, they wouldn't be there. So you see stuff that happened through the entire story arcs. So you see Yoko saying goodbye to his mum, saying that he's going off to be a pet. We see that their granddad is racing against the grandma, and if the granddad didn't win, then none of this would have happened. And it's kind of a really, really nice. You see their father that's trying to ride the bike, but he hasn't got the upper body strength to do stuff. You see the reason why Kun's mum doesn't like cats anymore, because a cat brought a dead bird to it, or killed the bird in front of her, and she hates cats completely. You also now see future Mirai and future Kun, and and they're kind of talking. Future Kun's got that whole thing of like, I don't care. I'm the anime protagonist that you don't care. I don't care about anything. That sort of coolness. And future Mirai sends Kun back and says that he's got to travel through the tree properly, otherwise he's going to get lost. And that's pretty much it. So this film I really liked. I generally thought I'd be really annoyed at most of it. And to be honest, Kun, I generally really didn't like. It just got to the point where you think he'd learn a lesson. You think that his parents would sit him down and explain this. And I understand that he wasn't able to come to terms with his jealousy or his frustrations. You think they'd be able to sit him down and kind of talk about it and say, look, this is what's going on. Also, from the experiences, you think that he would learn this as well, but again, he didn't. And this is one thing that really got to me, where I thought, you know what? Why? When you understand from his point of view, it becomes a lot easier. I really like the way that the stories interjected with each other, that they would teach him a lesson, but then show what the different time frames of like the family tree, that worked perfectly. That I generally really liked as well. I do think this film could have lasted a little bit longer. I think it had a lot of momentum behind it, that maybe they could add one more story. That you do see future Kun, but maybe you could see what he's like. Then you could tell his past self and say, look, this is what it is, so you could get a better understanding. I think that they kind of maybe missed the ball on that one, but the story was perfect. The story was interesting, and I really liked what they did with it. I'm hoping that maybe they'll do a sequel, maybe that when Kun is older, you know, he's got a wife and kids, and therefore it happens to him, and you see the kind of progress from it. I also really like the house. I thought the house was perfect as well. It's something that I would like to have a house like, because it just felt like a natural kind of story. Again, I generally, like, when it came to like the first story with Yoko, as Kun actually attaching his tail, I thought you could see more of that. Maybe you would see more animals come in at some point. But I think the film was great. I think it was perfect, and I highly recommend this one. So Ranger Nation, I'm going to leave it there. What are your thoughts on this? Have you seen the film? Would you check it out? Let me know down below in the comments. And if you've liked this video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, smash that notification bell to be notified when more videos drop. And with that, Ranger Nation, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.